Recording in progress.
Thank you and good afternoon, everyone. Warm summer day when we are expecting a little bit of rain. The farmers will be happy about that, I'm sure. And I'm sure our lawns as well. It's pretty sad looking lawns out there, but it's been a great warm summer and we're happy about that. So welcome, everyone. If there's any pecuniary interests, please declare them now. Hearing none, we'll move along to the resolution moved by Councillor Dirksen, seconded by Councillor Elliott. The minutes of the town of Minto, July the 8th, 2025, regular council meeting be approved. All in favor of the motion? It's carried. Thank you. We have a resolution moved by Deputy Mayor Anderson, seconded by Councillor Potnovitz, that the council of the town of Minto convene into the Committee of Adjustment. All in favor of that motion? It's carried. And we have a public hearing. It's MV 2025-06, Ann Street, Hairston, Fenora Homes. I'd like to call the public meeting to order and state that any decision reached by this committee today cannot be used to set a precedent. Each application considered by the committee is dealt with in its own merits, and no two applications are exactly the same. Public hearing is to consider a minor variance application MV 2025-06 of Fenero Custom Homes Incorporated. And I'll ask Secretary Treasurer McRobb to state some information for us.
Thank you very much. The purpose and effect of the minor variance application is to seek relief from the minimum lot frontage requirement for corner lots of the street townhouse development. Section 13.2.1.2 of the Town of Minto's Comprehensive Zoning Bylaw 01-86, as amended, requires a minimum lot frontage of 14 meters, 46 feet for corner lots of the street townhouse, whereas a minimum frontage of 13.4 meters or 43.96 feet is proposed. Additional relief may be considered at the time of the meeting. The notices were mailed to the property owners within 200 feet or 60 meters of the subject property, as well as the applicable agencies on July 22nd, 2025, and posted on the subject property the same date. Reports and comments have been received from both town staff and from the County of Wellington. I can advise that I do not believe there's any speakers registered to participate in this public hearing now. Sorry.
Thank you.
For that,
Annalee.
actually, Tracy from Van Horten, she's attending via Zoom. I think
Tracy, okay,
yes.
she'll be coming on to the application, to speak to the application. Thank you. Is she on?
She just wants to listen. All right, I'll ask our Town of Minto Planning Coordinator, Sama Haghai, to provide her comments, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And as Annalie mentioned, the application before the Committee of Adjustment concerned a property in Harriston located at 1217 Ann Street and owned by Fenero Custom Homes. The committee may recall that this property was previously before them in 2022 in the draft plan of subdivision, which proposed 126 residential dwelling units, including 39 townhouse units. And the subject block was created as a part of that subdivision plan, specifically for townhouse development. In addition, a part of control application was submitted in 2024 to create the residential lots, along with the rezoning application to allow increased lot coverage and reduce setbacks for the unenclosed covered rear yard deck on the residential lots. The subject land is zone R3-52, which means site-specific high-density residential, and which permits a variety of residential development ranging from apartments to townhouse buildings. This proposal is to reduce the minimum corner lot frontage to 13.4 meter or 44 feet, where 14 meter or 46 feet is required to accommodate the proposed townhouses on both corner lots. The application has been circulated to the usual agencies as well as property owners within 200 feet of the subject property within no concerns raised to the town. Town of Minto staff have reviewed and discussed the application and have no concerns with the proposal. The application successfully meets the four tests of minor variance under the Planning Act. It is deemed minor in nature and aligns with the general intent and purpose of both zoning bylaw and official plan. If the committee has any question for me, I would be glad to provide answer.
Thank you, Sama. We'll get to the questions in a moment, please. We also have our owner applicant, if Tracy Lesperance, Van Harten Surveying, she's joining remotely. If there's anything that she wants to say, Tracy, you're on right now. If we don't hear you, we'll just keep going.
Hi, good afternoon. This is Tracy Lesperance with Van Harten Surveying. As Sama has mentioned, we are looking to get a lot frontage reduction from the 14 meters to the 13.4 in line with the part law control application that was applied for last year. So if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tracy. So moving along here, if there's anybody in the council chambers today that wishes to speak to the application, make your way to the mic. Otherwise, I'm going to open it up for questions from our committee, our councilors. Any questions in reference to the minor variance? Councilor Pontovitz, go ahead.
Yeah, through you, Mayor. It's not in regards to minor variance. I just wondered about the hatch lines on the drawing there. Is that for easement?
That is correct. So there's going to be an easement up the middle of that block and then services the rear yards, both left and right. So everyone will have legal zoning access to their rear yards.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? So we did have a resident in our council chambers over the last couple of meetings talking about minor variances. Minor variances. I would think likely this one is likely very minor, if you want to put them in a category. And I also read the Wellington Advertiser in reference to some other municipalities. We're all dealing with the same issue, and it seems to be a pile of minor variances. So in this particular case, this minor variance is very minor. So I'm going to ask Secretary Treasurer McRobb to provide us with a resolution.
Thank you, Chair Turton. I'm going to provide a resolution for the committee to consider. Upon a resolution being carried or defeated, the notice of decision of the Committee of Adjustment is to be signed by all members of the Committee of Adjustment in favor of the decision. The one I'm going to present to you is that the Town of Minto Committee of Adjustment approves the application by Fenoro Custom Homes, Inc. for the property legally described as Block 52 and municipally known as 1-17 Ann Street, Harrison, in the Town of Minto, seeks relief from Section 13.2.1.2 to permit a minimum lot frontage of 13.4 meters, 43.96 feet, to accommodate street townhouse development.
So we need a mover and a seconder. Councilor Zimmerman, Councilor Dirksen. So before we vote, Tracy, are you you're still there? Can you give us kind of an update on how this funeral home, how they're doing in reference to that development? Or is she gone?
Hello?
Hi, Tracy. Did you hear my question?
I did. Yes, sorry, I had to unmute you. As you know, the housing has slowed down quite a bit in our area in the south of Ontario, and they're going little by little, but it seems like townhouses are what's selling the most. So this is why sometimes the minor variances are needed for certain developments.
Okay, well, thank you. And
Thank
thank you very
you.
much. So
You're welcome.
we have the motion. Everybody understands. I'm going to call the question. All in favor of the motion? That's carried unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone wishing to receive a copy of the notice of decision of the Committee of Adjustment in respect to the minor variance application must make a written request to the clerk of the town of Minto at 5941 Highway 89, Harrison, NOG 1ZO, or by email at Annaline at the town of Minto, town.minto.on.ca. And I'm going to officially adjourn this public meeting. So thank you very much. I've got a resolution moved by Councillor Gunson, seconded by Councillor Zimmerman, that the Town of Minto Committee of Adjustment convene into Committee of the Whole. Okay. Thank you for coming. Have a nice afternoon. We have no public meetings, but first on the delegations agenda, we have Jeff and Tiffany from the Grove Youth Wellness Hub with an update. So welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Richard. Council, staff, jump off of the executive director of the area. There's lots to share, but what's happening. You know, what I want to share off the top is what you're supporting this community, supporting the leadership position that Minto community members taking. Right here, live, families live here. We're getting the help that they really like. The next slide. Just as a reminder, what you supported brought together, which was co-designed with young people, is a space that provides a whole range of supports: peer services, outreach, system navigation, mental health supports, access to substance use supports, help with school, help find a job. Services that are local, that are timely, that are integrated in the community, they're co-located one spot, easy access to access. Look at some of the data. If we go to the next slide here, see places that are incredibly good. Sort of data over the last years here. So 5% increase in young people accessing growth sites across our several locations. So this is a big one. On top of that, we've seen a 50% increase, 50% increase in youth access in our countries. Yeah, I'll be frank with you, that number concerns me. How do we have sustained 50% growth year over year? No one comes to access. But what we do know for sure is that young people are going to these places. Young people who wouldn't traditionally access this.
I apologize. I just get an email. Could you please have the microphone a little closer to, there are people who are having a hard time hearing. Thank you. Can we just make sure that the microphone is on too, Ryan? Thanks.
Oh, that would actually be helpful, I think. There we go. I got it.
That looks better. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
sorry.
I apologize.
No, I apologize. Thank you.
Jeff,
Yeah.
it might be prudent that you mind starting again?
I don't mind starting again. I truly don't mind starting again. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because we do have quite an audience in the town of Minto and other areas, and it's important that you get the message out.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Mayor Chair. Thank you.
For taking the time to
No.
start again.
No, and thank you for the opportunity. Yeah. We're excited to be here today to talk to you about this wonderful place that this community has brought to life for young people. You know, just down the road here in Palmerston, we're seeing about 50 to 100 youth every single day in that amazing space. In places that work for young people, places that are accessible, that are open, and are available. Mind going to the next slide, please? Is a reminder of what you help build here for young people, and what you bring to life every single day is a one-stop shop for youth wellness. Spaces that are co-designed with young people, with services that include peer support, outreach, system navigation, mental health supports, substance use supports, help with school, help find a job, housing, financial assistance, all available here locally, all available in one location, co-located, integrated with services in our community. We're going to dig into that a little bit with council here today. in a model of care that works for young people. We've got some data to share that with you. We see this working daily for young people, and the data that we're going to share with you supports that as well. These hubs are incredibly busy. Last year, we had over 36,000 visits from young people across the growth sites across Guelph and Wellington County. That's a 5% increase year over year. And youth accessing our clinical services is up 50% year over year. It's 5-0, up 50% year over year. These are spaces that young people are in every single day, that young people are benefiting from, and young people are finding to be a real positive impact in their lives. If we go to the next slide here, we'll talk a bit about that here. We see real positive satisfaction data here from the youth that are in the hubs here, with 99% of young people feeling really satisfied with the care they receive, the support they receive. And the one that really jumps out to me is a willingness to share these spaces with their friends, you know, and those that they care about, and to recommend these services to somebody that they think would benefit from this. Young people feel treated with respect in these spaces here, and agree that that these spaces meet their cultural needs, their specific needs. This is what youth are telling us. Go to the next slide, please. We talk about change to the system here. Young people are getting help right away, you know, and 90% of youth feel satisfied with how long it's taken them to get their first service appointment. And approximately 80% of youth wait less than 72 hours for their first appointment. And in fact, here locally, here in Minto, in Palmerston, most youth get support same day. You walk in the hub, if you need help today, you will get help today. About twice the provincial average of we see about twice the provincial average with youth accessing same day healthcare supports here at the youth hub than what you see across the province. These spaces are accessible and available, and young people getting help every single day. Next slide, please. There's a variety of needs that we support here with young people within these spaces here. Mental health is the biggest space that we're supporting youth. Education is second, and navigational supports are the top 3 areas that we support young people within these hubs. Next slide, please. And you know, I talked about earlier about young people accessing spaces, accessing help who wouldn't traditionally be at receiving support. We ask a question when a young person comes through our intake. If you weren't receiving help today at the Grove, where would you have gone? What would you have done? And over 40% of the young people that we're supporting say they're not sure where they would have gone, or they would have gone nowhere and would not be receiving help. These are young people in your community who need some support and who are receiving support because of your generosity, because of the efforts of this council, because of the efforts of this community who continue to step up. And I want to share with you some positive data too around young people. This is from Guelph, Wellington, Dufferin Public Health. You know, the number of young people that have a sense of where to go to receive help has increased significantly over the last 3 years. If you look through the Y survey data from just 3 years ago, about half of young people, these are high school students, when asked the question, if you needed support today, do you know where you would go, who you would talk to? About half of youth, just 3 years ago, said they would know where to go. That number has increased to over 80% in the most recent survey that came out last fall. And there's 2 big reasons that change has happened. Certainly our partners in the school system play a big role in that piece of it. The school boards have done a wonderful job of promoting health literacy and mental health literacy within the schools, and continue to do so as well. And the second area that's been flagged, the second biggest reason for that is these youth hubs coming online. The availability of services in local communities that's accessible, that's open, are the 2 big drivers of why young people now have a better sense of where to go and receive help. And I find this data here in particular really interesting because, you know, 40% of young people are getting help who wouldn't traditionally be getting help. That's wonderful news for us in our community here, for sure. Just a year ago, that number was 50%, 50. And so I think partially what that tells us too is just within a year itself, more young people now also have a better sense of where to go to get help than they did just a year ago. Next slide, please. We get a lot of questions about how did you hear about the Youth Wellness Hub? And school is our #1 referral source, our biggest partner. You wouldn't be surprised. It's not a surprise here, you know, in Minto with Norwell being right across the street. But that is the #1 referral source for young people within our spaces here. Next slide, please. And I think to dig into that further, that's where Tiffany's going to jump in here. Tiffany is our team lead here for our site in Palmerston. Tiff and our amazing team here are the ones who really are the heroes and champions for young people here within this community here that work there. They work every single day to support young people in a real fast-paced, busy environment. Place that's different every single day. It's really difficult to plan your days here at a place that they've created that's really warm and welcoming for youth from across our communities here. And so Tiff's going to dig into real stories here of impact, the difference that this council, this community is making on young people as well. So again, appreciate your time here today, and thanks for having us here, Mayor Turton.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, Jeff. So here's a little bit of data from last year to this year. So our drop-in visits at the hub last year were about 12,000, and this year we're up to 19,000. And that's huge. So that's just folks coming in, whether they're getting a snack, they might be getting a referral source, they might be just warming up between classes, but they're in our space and they're available to us and they know who we are and they know they can access us for supports. So my big thing here, I'm going to try to tell you some stories of our people. So these are some of our young people. And I am going to read this. I apologize because this one's a long one. But I want you to consider this young person. So Kevin moved to rural Wellington in grade 9 from the city. His parents separated and he moved with his mom and younger brother to Harriston while dad remained in the city. Kevin began high school here at Norwell with no friends and bussed in from the country. Imagine this. Kevin feels isolated and lonely. He's bottling up his emotions. He's going into a deep depression. Kevin's mom is working long hours to provide for the family and can't get him to his dad's very often to see his friends. Kevin starts missing classes. He's sleeping a lot. He stops reaching out to his old friends. And Kevin has those thoughts of suicide. Now consider this. The difference that our hub is able to make. So Kevin has the youth hub down the street. He goes to us every day at lunch. He starts to meet people. He starts to see people like him. He starts to have an avenue for an outlet. He starts to build rapport with our team. He starts to have conversations. Our team is able to reach out to him and say, yeah, you're not seeming yourself today. And within that, he gets the support he needs. Kevin never has those thoughts of suicide. That's the goal that we do in the hub work that we do. I think, okay, we had a little video, but I don't think it plays. Yep. Can we, is it too much trouble? We were really honored. We have an event called Mask Off, and it was actually our young people here in Palmerston who did the spokespeople for it. So this is right in our hub. They're speaking about our hub, and it really is heartwarming if you're okay to listen to it for a moment.
My goal in interactions with youth is to meet them where they're at and see what are they looking for. If they're looking to reach their goals, what are those goals and what are the steps we need to take to get there? And then what's my role in helping make that happen?
I have really bad anxiety and I was not really doing the best. And I ended up coming to the Grove and they gave me the proper support that I needed. I've gotten help to write a resume and to find a job. I'm working on becoming a better me. Being here, you grow and you have great connections and it's like a big family.
If I could describe the Grove in one sentence, I would describe it as one place where youth can come in and start working on getting needs met, whether that's we have all the answers right away or it's going to take some time. It's one stop and you're leaving that day with some support and answers in place.
Thanks, Quinn. I just have to say, I'm so proud of her. We did not script that at all. When she said it's like a family, I was just about in tears. Bless her. So here's a little bit more about some of our partnerships and sort of the embracing of the community that we've been working towards. So we're always grateful for our community partners, so Township of Minto and Mapleton. And so within those, we've been able to do a little bit outside of our hub. We're now doing a bit of wellness programming with our communities. We're supporting at the day camps. We offer some mindfulness, some calming activities, things like that once a week or so. We're going into after school programs. We're working with Mapleton to get into their youth dances and sort of partner with them in those ways. Those are youth we may not be seeing in other ways. And so how do we let them know we're here, we're available? And we know that young people will access support when they have rapport and they feel safe to do so. And so if they see our team at day camp with them next year when they go to school and they do need support, they might remember that you were a safe space for them and then they're safe to go to you. Within that, we also work heavily with the schools. I'm really proud of our partnership right now, specifically with Norwell. I think we've come a long way. We work really cohesively back and forth with youth who are struggling and how we can support them outside of that school environment. We also go into some of the elementary schools and do some wellness programming, again, similarly to offer that wellness support and for them to know who we are and what's available to them. We're doing lots of programming through the summer with our school boards. So while youth aren't in school and schools aren't available, how can we be that resource for them when that's what they're used to? And similarly, we do some preventative program called Preventure within the schools. And then, yeah, just in continuing that support with the communication with all of our schools has been a really big thing for us. The last part on there is our partnership with the Minto Mapleton Family Health Team. So we're really honored. We have a nurse practitioner who attends our hub twice a month and provides primary care in our hub space for young people. Our goal is always about accessibility, not about attachment. And so it's about how do we get young people what they need here and now while they're with us, and then get them back to that long-term support. And how do we do that safely? Our goal being to minimize sort of wait times, the risk, and all of those pieces. So it's been pretty amazing. She's seeing 8 to 10 youth a month right now. So that's huge. Like, she is busy on her days she's with us, and young people are happy to come see her, and they're seeing her for a variety of reasons. And then I have one more little success story for you. I could tell you success stories all day because I feel like every youth who comes in, there's something great. But I'll tell you a little bit of a longer one here. This is about a little guy named Mike. So this grade 11 student who accessed the hub since grade 9 in different capacities began coming in a little more dysregulated each day. And after months of resistance to seeking support, Mike came in escalated after an incident at school. In collaboration with the school, we learned that Mike was having a very hard week and had verbally accosted the principal and then left in quite a huff. Mike came straight over to the hub, pacing and verbalizing his unrest. The team member at the Hut Grove was able to sit with him, offer some water, a snack, learn about what had happened. And it turns out this youth was actually precariously housed, unable to access supports due to not having a birth certificate. And they just felt like this day had been the last straw, and they just didn't know what to do next. They didn't have another resource. So in collaboration with the high school, and the social worker actually came and sat with us till 6 o'clock that night, and we sat with this youth and we set up some supports for the weekend. We got them transportation and some supports for that weekend to get them through, and a check-in for Monday morning. So we knew where they were, what they were doing, and how we were doing our next pieces. On Monday morning, Mike came in. He was apologetic for his anger on Friday and actually shared that lost feeling. So the Grove Youth outreach worker was able to support Mike in applying for his birth certificate. We have done more than those than I can count, which came in just days later. We did expedite it. And then we were able to get him to the bank, set up a bank account, and then apply for Ontario Works and go to the food bank for those more immediate supports. Mike continues to access the Grove in a variety of ways. Some days just to come in and say hi, some days for the nurse practitioner, and most recently to apply for a job. So Mike shared with us and the Grove team, he doesn't know where he would be if he hadn't have had us that day when he came in. Mike is true to my heart, and that's not his real name, obviously, but this is an individual who had a lot going on and really didn't know who or how to trust, and was able to express that to us and knew that even in his state of unrest, it was safe for him to be there. And so we were able to do that with him, and we still see him to this day. I think that's it.
I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, well, thanks, Jeff and Tiffany, and I'll open it up to the floor here. Any counselors want to question? Go ahead, Deputy Mayor Anderson.
Hi, thank you for all that you do. I personally refer kids when I find them in Emerge, but my issue or concern is, how do they know to find you if maybe they're not in school? And this poor child, Mike, it sounds like he had no family involved. He was living alone in precarious housing and attending high school. And like, how does that happen? How do we not know that? So is there a connection with CAPE? Do you guys have a connection with CAPE?
So we don't directly with CAPE right now.
Okay.
CMHA would, and it is definitely an avenue. And Jean, I think if you often, because have you seen our flyers in your emergency room yet?
I haven't been to the Emerge for a little bit, but there were none there the last time I was there. I'm very casual there.
They should be there. So
Good.
we've been working on that part of it.
Yeah.
But you're right. How do we catch those youth who aren't in the schools, aren't in the day programs, that we aren't catching right there? So that is part of our goal.
And the other suggestion or thought I had is informing the parents, because the kids that we're seeing, they're either being brought in by police or ambulance, or their parents are bringing them. And as I say, when the parents get to that point, they've exhausted all their local support, if they had any. Parents are the last to know about this, but maybe if the parents knew and if they could learn the signs to watch. So I don't know if we have seminars or things through the high school that we could bring them in to show them, this is a sign that your child is troubled. And maybe you want to find some information, just leave it, because they're probably not going to talk to you, but they would be welcome some knowledge of where to go. Because that's the part, they don't know anything about the hub. Half the kids that come in a really troubled state, they don't know it exists. So if they're not bad enough to stay, I try and tell them and direct them to that direction because it's invaluable for them.
Yeah, and Deputy Mayor, I would agree with you. We're not as well known yet as we could be. And I think we look ahead of the priorities we've got as an organization.
Yep.
Serving more young people is one of our number one priorities here, right?
Yeah.
And part of that is absolutely through awareness.
Yeah.
As we look at that data, the number one referral source is schools, right? My worker was the second piece there.
Mhm.
Parents were fourth on that list,
Uh,
right?
yeah.
And you may have saw that as you were looking through the data there, right? And we totally agree with you. Like there's much more work to do for
Mhm.
sure, no question.
Mhm.
These places are busy, and that's one of the things I said earlier. That is going to be a challenge for us. Is how do you sustain this model long term as we grow here? There's lots of need in the community here.
Mhm.
How do you sustain this model here so that this is a place that young people can walk into, get help same day? We've got the resources to
Yeah.
do that, right? That's you know that better than anybody
And
working in primary
that is
care. Yeah.
amazing for them because they can't wait.
Yes.
If they're coming asking for help, they're in no position to be waiting at all. And the kids that are coming to there, they may not have a good circle of friends in the school that could tell them about, as I've admitted my error before that I thought it was be too close to the school and they wouldn't go. I was absolutely wrong. They're right there. It's visible where most schools or hubs are not near the school. How do they find out about you? Because if they don't have a circle of friends and if their parents don't know and the teachers don't know, how do we get that message? But good for you. The work you're doing is amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Other thoughts? Councillor Elliott, go ahead.
Yeah, I live in Palmerston and I go past the Grove quite a bit, and especially around noon hours and stuff. And originally, when you opened this building, I thought to myself, there's going to be a stigma here, and nobody will want to know that, yeah, I'm going to the hub. But it doesn't seem to be that way. You have people sitting on the outside the building waiting to get in. You're way too full. You could probably double your size. And I congratulate you for creating that atmosphere so anybody feels welcome to come and they don't have to feel there's a stigma to be attending the hub. So I appreciate what you do, and I can see what you do. And I do have people that I know, or youngsters that I have known that have benefited from your program and have told me that. So thank you.
Thank you.
If I could comment quickly, I think it's the beauty of this model of care for young people, right? Nobody knows why you're in the youth hub. No, you could be there for lunch, there to play pool,
Yeah.
play video games, to see the mental health clinician. Nobody has any idea why you're there. And even if you are seeing the mental health clinician, it's not uncommon for you to be seeing her anyway, talking, because you talk to Stacy all day long because she's in the hub. You play pool with Stacy, right? So that's a real beauty of this model, Councillor Elliott, is this piece where it really breaks down that stigma, those barriers, especially in smaller communities, right? Where everybody knows everybody and everybody drives by. That's Main Street. Everybody drives by, right? And nobody's asking, why is Jeff walking to the Grove? So it's like, why isn't he walking the Grove is the real question, right?
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Go ahead, Belinda.
Thank you. It's not a question. I just want to make a plug. So the Western Ontario Wardens Caucus has their Western Ontario Municipal Conference on October 17th. I get to sit on that committee to plan it. And when they were looking for someone to speak about a successful mental health model, I reached out to Jeff, and he will be on the panel speaking in London on October 17th. So I just wanted to make council aware of that. There's a lot of other great sessions, and we'll support Jeff there. So just wanted to let you know that.
Thank you, Belinda. One question. So some of our students, when they go off there, they graduate and they go off to university college. Is there support at the colleges and universities?
Yeah, so it's interesting. The Grove is has the only youth wellness hub site at a university campus right now in Ontario. So we have one at the University of Guelph. There's nothing else like that. However, there are this model of care is found in about 30 other communities across the province. It depends on which community they're in. They could find a youth hub within those communities. The piece that our team does a lot of work with young people is making those connections to those local supports as well. And Tiff could speak to this, but if you are moving, we have lots of youth who are moving on to college, university, or just moving to new communities. And part of the work that our team will do is making those connections to those services. So it could be student wellness services at the university directly, right? And that might be the right place to go. Or it could be a youth hub within that community if there is one there, or another social services community service that's there as well. It's a lot of the work, not a lot of work, but it is work that our team does to help youth make that transition onto what's next for them.
Good, thank you. Well, so on behalf of council, thank you for coming today. It's really interesting to see the smiles on your guys' faces, and you come once a year or twice a year, however often you come. It seems like yesterday you were here, but the good news stories. You just can't help but wonder, you know, where these kids, these students would be without you guys there. So thank you for all the good work you do, and you're welcome here anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day, everybody.
And if you guys want to leave, if you want to stay, you can suit yourself. So, but we're going to move along on to our next delegation. This might be interesting for you folks to hear. I'm going to ask Kasia Baniak. She's the Director of Compliance for the Kinder Rise Academy. And she brought along with her Angelina Rahadje. So welcome, ladies. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I like that Minto County Council. That's right on the front page. So we're stepping up here.
Yes, you are. We have lots of growth in mind.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Thank you for coming, and the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for your sharing us today. Kindergarten is forward early that aims to expand access to affordable, high quality childcare. Our proposed license center will grow and spaces and serve areas while supporting goals and provide early childcare system. Affordability, accessibility, high quality, and our vision is to empower every child with peaceful, early learning experiences, safe, inspiring environments, laying the foundation for lifelong growth. Our core values are inclusion, quality, equity. Kindergarten Academy is designed to address urgent care childcare shortages identified in the well-directed growth plan and align with the town and district's priorities. Our center will focus on toddler and preschool programs and early
I apologize. Sorry. Is that mic still on, or can you move it a little bit closer?
Green. Is
Thank
that
you.
better?
Thank you.
Okay. Would you like me to start again?
I think so. I mean,
Okay.
this is very, very important to our community. and so
Technical glitches. We've
if
got
you don't
this.
mind, Cassia, to start again.
Not a
we
problem.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Kinderrise Academy is a forward-thinking early learning initiative dedicated to expanding access to affordable, high-quality, and inclusive childcare in Wellington County. Our proposed licensed center will meet the growing demand for spaces in underserved areas while supporting the goals of the Canada-wide early learning and childcare system: affordability, accessibility, high quality, and inclusivity. Our vision to empower every child through meaningful early learning experiences in safe, inclusive, and inspiring environments, laying the foundation for lifelong growth and community connection. Our core values are inclusion, quality, integrity, and innovation. Kinderrise Academy is designed to address urgent childcare shortages identified in the Wellington Directed Growth Plan and align with the Town of Minto's strategic priorities. Our center will focus on toddler and preschool programs, ensuring each learning environment supports children's cognitive, social, emotional, and physical development. Kinderrise Academy will create much-needed licensed childcare spaces, reducing waitlist pressure for local families, support priority populations, including low-income families, newcomers, Indigenous and Francophone communities, and children with special needs. Maintain affordable, regulated fees through the CWELC participation, deliver inclusive, high-quality programming led by qualified educators committed to continuous professional learning, and provide family engagement opportunities, including monthly workshops, a year-round clothing donation program, and inclusive birthday celebrations for all children and staff. This is a strategic opportunity for Minto. Establishing Kinderrise Academy in Minto presents a long-term strategic investment that aligns with the municipality's goals to attract and retain young families by increasing access to affordable, high-quality childcare, support workforce participation by enabling parents to return to or remain in employment, strengthen community resilience with a facility that can adapt to evolving needs, including expanded early learning services or community-based children's programming in the future, and also to contribute to local economic development by making Minto more competitive as a place to live, work, and raise a family. Kinderrise Academy is ready to partner with Minto to deliver a licensed childcare center that meets the needs of families today and supports the growth of the community for years to come. With a preliminary capacity of 70 licensed spaces, our center will provide a safe, inclusive, and inspiring environment where every child can thrive and every family feels supported. We bring proven expertise in designing and delivering childcare facilities that align with CWELC principles, meet Ministry of Education licensing standards, and directly address the priorities identified in the Wellington County Directed Growth Plan and Minto Strategic Plan. By investing in this project, council members will be helping to create an essential community asset, one that reduces waitlists, strengthens family stability, supports workforce participation, and makes Minto an even more attractive place to live and to work. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Very interesting proposal. I'm going to ask is a question. Councillor Dirksen, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Turner. I'm just curious, is Kinderrise a franchise? Is it just planning for Clifford?
We have an expansion that is in Wellington County, York Region, Peel, and we're starting here. We believe that the smaller communities that are underserved have a greater need for childcare spaces, and we'd like to be able to provide that.
So you have daycares?
No, this is our first.
This is it? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
This is your first in this region, but you have others.
This is our first.
First.
Yes, we have a CWELC application in Peel region that's being reviewed. We have to align with the timelines of the municipalities and the regions that distribute the funding. So the province mandates the spots, and then the counties distribute it, and then the towns are the ones who approve the centers based on zoning and other building requirements.
Sorry, other questions? Deputy Mayor Anderson.
So what is your ask from council? Are you looking for funding? Are you looking for a space? Are you looking for permission? Are you looking for all of the above?
We're looking for a space for the rec hall, the Clifford to William Street.
Okay.
We're looking to expand that and build that out as a daycare facility.
So would that program occupy that rec center all the time?
Yes.
Okay.
Monday to Friday.
Yes.
And is there a business plan for this that we could purview or?
There is a
look at?
business plan that we can provide.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Because I'm just sort of this, yeah, sure.
So
daycare, but what is the ask? You need
Okay,
a space, you need cots, you need a stove, you need all of
So-
the above?
The County of Wellington distributes the funding for the program.
Okay.
Within the municipalities are the ones who govern which properties are useful based on zoning. So we've identified Clifford, the hall there, as not being used primarily, and we'd like to go ahead and build that out as a daycare center to offer these spaces.
is this a community center we're talking about? So is it not
Yes.
being used?
So that's it. Oh, can we defer that question? to
Sure.
our friend,
Okay.
Our CAO, Mr. Burke?
Good afternoon. What the proposal or the intent of this delegation today was to get support in principle of this program. We have looked at the Clifford Ag Hall, or the Community Hall, I'm sorry, as an opportunity, given its availability currently. What we would like to have is a motion from council, potentially directing staff to prepare a letter of intent and a letter of support for the County of Wellington funding proposal. And then once that is satisfied, then we can enter into negotiations, which we haven't done it to this point, to see how this proposal and how the business case will roll out. So there's a lot more steps as we move along. This is part of your strategic plan, adding childcare spaces. So we thought that we would bring this to you folks and start the ball rolling with these letters of intent and letter of support in principle, and then we can move on from there.
Okay. Can I ask a couple more questions?
Go ahead. Yeah.
So
So what we'll do is, if the question that comes forward, you guys want to answer it, that's fine. Otherwise, we'll defer it to our CAO. Because I know that CAO Fertney has had numerous discussions with you folks. So go ahead, Deputy Mayor Ann.
So this would become part of the Wellington County program, and these spaces would be subsidized spaces similar to the childcare center close to the public school in Palmerston?
Yes, they would be CWELC aligned, so Canada-wide Early Learning System has.
Okay, I
has a-
didn't know that acronym applied. to
Oh,
that, but-
yes, apologies,
Yeah,
yes.
no worries.
That acronym does apply. So the province mandated the spots, the county is to distribute the funding, and we're asking the town to support our daycare center.
So you are representative, so there'd be childcare workers that you already have in your employ, or this is all, we're starting from the ground up?
We're
and
starting from the
growing
ground
both?
up, and we're
All
looking
right.
for community members to obviously create jobs there as well.
Okay, absolutely. All right, I think I've got it. Thank you.
So other questions? So would there be a board of directors?
Yes.
So we would have somebody from the area as chair of the board of directors, and we'd have 6 or 8 folks on the board. Is that a fair statement?
Well, it's not a nonprofit organization.
Right.
With the County of Wellington, there is a profit margin that they are willing to accept. So we would be in alignment with that funding model. But there would be a board that does oversee the plan and the growth of the center.
Other questions? So it's certainly sorely needed in our community. Childcare, as you alluded to, is an economic engine. We've talked about this for years and years. And if people don't have a place for take their children, then, we're in trouble. So, Belinda, is there anything you want to say? Thank you.
Yep, just.
Don't want to put you on the hot seat.
Nope, I was going to just echo, everyone knows there's a need for childcare. But as you also are aware, we're doing our business retention expansion surveys right now. We've completed 50 out of 75 or more. And childcare continues to be a challenge that is being identified, and one of the identified items as a disadvantage of having a business here. So this is for sure something that is needed. And when we present the findings, I'm sure you'll see that in the final reports and action plans.
Other questions? So there is a procedure here, and the first step is what we're dealing with today. So I'm going to ask Annalene to put a proposal forward.
Thank you. If I can put a motion forward for council's consideration, that the council of the town of Minto direct staff to prepare and forward a letter of intent and a letter of support to Kinder Rise Academy so that they can provide them to the county of Wellington with their applications.
Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Councillor Zimmerman, Councillor Elliott. Is there any other questions? Everybody understand what it is we're doing here today? Hearing none, and I'm going to call the question. If there's no further questions, all in favor of the motion? That's carried. So thank you very much, ladies. We appreciate you coming.
Thank you very much. And just another thing to add is our center would also serve as I know that the youth center was very just wonderful from what I heard. So we would serve as a first stop for parents looking for support as well, with monthly workshops and other community outreach programs that we would run through the center as well. Just important to add.
Perfect. So you have your work cut out for you, I'm sure.
Yes.
So good luck. And
Thank you.
Thank you again for coming.
Thank you.
So if you want to stay, you can. If you want to vacate, that's fine as well. But thank you. We're now into a public question period. And the mayor of the chair of the meeting has a duty to preserve order and maintain decorum throughout the meeting. Although council strive to hear and be responsive to resident concerns in order to preserve order, maintain decorum, and comply with the town's procedural bylaw, I wish to caution any participants in question period that questions that use discourteous language will not be permitted. Questions that seek policies or bylaws outside the town's jurisdiction, including policies or bylaws that might violate human rights legislation, will not be permitted. Anything that constitutes speeches or statements not in the form of question will not be permitted. Repeat questions will not be permitted, including a repetition of questions from the prior meetings. All persons shall be limited to no more than 2 questions. So public question period is upon us. Questions this afternoon? Okay. We're going to move along to correspondence. Received for information or requiring direction from council. We have quite a list of them. A to N. There's one here that I want to talk about, which is I, and I'm going to pass the chair to Deputy Mayor Anderson for a moment.
Okay. So are there any letters or pieces of correspondence that you would like to bring forward and address?
Yes, I would like to bring I. So this is to do with critical ground. Senator Black from Center Wellington. So is why soil is essential with Canada's economy, and he has wrote a book about it. He's very passionate about this, and I know that the county is as well. The Ontario Federation of Agriculture, and this is agriculture front and center. So what I would like to do is have our council support. I'd like to present a resolution on council's behalf, if you don't mind. And I'll, am I reading this?
It's up to you.
Okay, or do you want to?
I can for you if you would like.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Annalee.
Whereas the Standing Senate Committee on Agriculture and Forestry Report 2024, Critical Ground, Why Soil is Essential to Canada's Economic, Environmental, Human and Social Health, underscores the profound and critical importance of soil to Canada's economic, environmental, human and social well-being, likening it to air and water. And whereas the report highlights that healthy soil is defined by its capacity to function and deliver essential ecosystem services such as water for purification, carbon sequestration, and nutrient cycling, while soil degradation signifies a decline in soil function and quality. And whereas Canada's soils are facing unprecedented challenges, including climate change, extreme weather events, urbanization, and evolving agricultural practices, which have masked improvements in soil management and led to continued degradation and loss of agricultural land across the country. And whereas in Ontario specifically, soils are increasingly vulnerable to erosion, compaction, and declining organic matter levels, with a significant loss of arable farmland estimated at 319 acres daily, and large areas facing moderate to high risk of soil organic carbon degradation, partly due to conversion from perennial to annual crops. And whereas the report emphasizes the urgency for immediate action to protect and conserve soils and calls for collaboration among all levels of government, federal, provincial, and territorial, municipal, and Indigenous governments to ensure the economic prosperity of agricultural and forestry producers. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Town of Minto formally endorses and supports all the recommendations, 25, outlined in the critical ground report, particularly those that can be influenced or supported at the municipal level, and advocates for their implementation by higher levels of government. And be it further resolved that the Council of the Town of Minto supports the designation of soil as strategic national asset, and that the appointment of a national soils advocate recognizing soil as a national policy priority. And be it further resolved that the Council of the Town of Minto considers alongside the province of Ontario and County of Wellington how to develop measures as a form of land use planning that best preserve and protect agricultural land within its jurisdiction, promoting gentle density growth policies to integrate agriculture into communities rather than planning it out. And be it finally resolved that this motion be circulated to the following parties: Honorable Senator Rob Black, the Honorable MP John Nader, Senate Standing Committee on Agriculture and Forestry, the Honorable MPP Matthew Ray, the Honorable Minister Lisa Thompson, Minister of Rural Affairs, the Honorable Minister Trevor Jones, Minister of Agriculture, Food and Agribusiness, all municipalities within the County of Wellington, the Wellington Federation of Agriculture, and the Ontario Federation of Agriculture. That was a lot.
Was indeed. Thank you for reading that, Annalene. Are there any other items that people would like to bring forward or address?
No, but I have a question about that motion.
Yes, Councillor Dirks.
I'm curious why our motion is about 40 pages longer than Wellington North's.
I can answer that. So
That
we-
was a lot
Yep.
to absorb, and I'm not sure I want to say, yeah, let's, I mean, I love Senator Black. I think he's a wonderful man, and he's doing a great job, but unless I've read that report and I know what all 25 are, I'm not sure I just want to put my hand up and say, yeah, let's support all of those. At this point, anyways, that's just my quick thought.
Any other questions or comments or rebuttal to Councillor Dirksen's concerns?
So the motion is not up for this time, so that's,
Oh, okay.
so it can be discussed, right?
All right.
Without
Oh, sorry.
making, no, without this being moved or seconded. It's something different. Let's report coming forward or something that.
So we have a choice.
Yep.
Make our own, or we could have utilized Wellington North's. And if RCA wants to comment on this, so that's fine. Otherwise, we can. I'm fairly easy. I just want to get it on. It's something that is before us. I want to get it moving.
CEO Ferdinand.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I had the pleasure of also reviewing the 160-page report and broke it down into a summary sheet, and I can provide that to council. Might help to support the motion that Turton has brought forward. And it's done.
That'd be helpful.
Oh, I think an executive summary of 160 pages would be fantastic. Yes.
Is that acceptable to you, Mayor Turton?
Absolutely. So if we want to defer
So
the
do we have,
motion-
Annalene, do we have a vote or we defer it or what
Well,
do we do?
the motion has, although it's not on the floor yet because there is no mover and seconder.
Right.
What we could do is create a motion that staff bring forward a report for council's consideration on this, if that is what the wish of the mayor is.
Absolutely. So if that's what the council want to do, I'm fine with that.
So
And-
Annalene, you'll read out that motion once you've got it
Yeah.
typed right for us. Thank
I
you.
am. So the Council of the Town of Minto requests the staff report come forward regarding, and then the name of the, hang on a second, regarding critical ground, why soil is an essential Canada's economic, environmental, human and social health report. Is that the name of the report? If I may ask. Thank you. For council's consideration. So that Council of Town of Minto requests that staff bring forward, sorry, a report regarding critical ground, why soil is essential to Canada's economic, environmental, human, and social health report for information and consideration.
I'll move that.
Counselor Dirksen. And any other questions? Put it forward for the vote then. Everybody understands what we're asking? All those in favor? And that's passed. And I'll pass the chair back to Mayor
Okay,
Turton.
thank you very much, Deputy Mayor Anderson. There's other items on the list here from A to N, excluding I. Is there others that want to be brought forth? Hearing none, I'm going to moved by Councillor Elliott, seconded by Deputy Mayor Anderson, that the council received the correspondence as information. I'm not sure if I read that, but if I did, I've read it twice. All in favor of the motion? That motion's carried. Thank you very much. Going to move along to reports of committees. We have there is no committee minutes for approval, so we'll move to staff reports, and I'll ask our director, Belinda Graham, to give us a report in reference to the facade grants. I think there's facade and signage. Belinda, go ahead, please.
Yep. Thank you, Mayor Turton. This is a facade application for Dolce Heaven Cafe and Cones, formerly Cookies and Scoops. They just celebrated their 1-year anniversary in Palmerston this past July. And with that came a rebranding exercise. They're looking to improve their signage, which in this case is an awning, which falls under our facade program. That's a matching grant up to $3,000. The committee has reviewed this application via email because we don't meet until September. And as a result, their recommendation is for the applicant to receive $1,290 to help support their facade improvement.
Thank you. So the recommendation is moved by Councillor Zimmerman, seconded by Councillor Elliott, that the Council of the Town of Minto hereby receives report ECDEV 2025-012 facade grant P24 Dolce Heaven Cafe and Cones, 107 William Street, Palmerston, prepared by the Director of Economic and Community Development for the following for information purposes, and further that the Council of the Town of Minto approve the facade grant P24 for $1,290. Questions for Belinda? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to call the question. All in favor of this motion? That's carried. Thank you. Belinda, would you like to enlighten us on the second one, please?
Yep. So this is a signage grant application for CDP Diesel and Auto Inc. They are located on Noble Family Road in the Palmerston Industrial Park. Moved there in 2022, relocated from Listowel, and for several years didn't have any signage. So Nathan put up this signage. It looks really great. It's not considered backlit signage. That's a different type of sign. And this does qualify for the maximum grant of $1,000. And the committee again voted via email in support of this grant.
Recommendation moved by Councillor Gunson, seconded by Councillor Potnovitz, that the Council of the Town of Minto hereby receives report ECDEV 2025-013. It's a signage grant, P31 for CDP Diesel and Auto Inc. at 114 Noble Family Road, Palmerston, prepared by the Director of Economic and Community Development for information purposes. And further that the Council of the Town of Minto approves the signage grant P31 for $1,000. Questions? All in favor of the motion? It's carried. Thank you. The Hairston Alleyway Painting Project. Belinda, please.
Yeah, so Hairston Rising has been hard at work looking for different beautification projects. Last summer, they were working on the alleyway between the theater and the Homestyle Bites restaurant, trying to make it look a little more attractive. So you can see some photos there of the work that they had done last year. And then this year, they are planning to hire local artist Stephanie Hood Ryan and Chantel Koslag have graciously offered us to paint this portion of their building to add some nice bright colors. So it's not a mural, but the type of agreement is similar to a mural agreement. So that's what we have for you today is an agreement with the property owners as well as an agreement with the artist to get this painted in September. And it is about $1,800 with the lift and the paint. And yeah, it falls within their $4,000 capital budget.
Thank you, Belinda. The recommendation is moved by Deputy Mayor Anderson, second by Councillor Dirksen. The Council of the Town of Minto hereby receives report ACDEP 2025-014, Hairston Alleyway Painting Project, prepared by the Director of Economic and Community Development for information purposes. Further, that the Council of the Town of Minto considers a bylaw in regular session authorizing the mayor and the clerk to execute an agreement with property owner Ryan and Chantel Koslag. And further, that the Council of the Town of Minto considers a bylaw in regular session authorizing the mayor and the clerk to execute an artist agreement with Stephanie Hood. Question? Go ahead, Councillor Elliott.
Those colors, do they represent anything or just
Yes.
colors?
Yes, those are Hairston Rising's brand colors. So when you're downtown Hairston, you'll see the banners with the Hairston Rising logo are all those colors.
Okay.
Their whole brand is around cool cones and color zones. It's all about bright, vibrant, vibrance. So that's where those colors came from.
Yeah. And the ice cream is melting, I see.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Other questions? Okay. Seeing none, then I'm going to call the question. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you very much. We have one more.
Last one. Yep.
Okay, go ahead, Belinda.
So this is a report to amend the option to purchase on the BTJ Investments Limited property, which is 460 Minto Road. You'll recall earlier this year, we came with a normal extension request of 6 months, which is allowed in our existing option to purchase. And we had hints at that time that with how things are going in the economy, we're not seeing a lot of uptake on people looking to do investing and build buildings and move into buildings right now. So we kind of expected that this would happen. Terry Kuipers and I met with the owners a couple weeks ago to discuss it. They have been doing a lot of work, outreach to other people, trying to secure a tenant. As you can expect, nobody wants to build a building without knowing who the tenants are going to be right now, having that investment. However, since our meeting, they have seemed to have some interest, but we still need to go through this process. The extension request would go until August 30th, 2026. It would require an amendment to our option to purchase, and the folks here, BTJ Investments, would be required to pay the legal fees to have that amended, and we're still holding on to the 10% performance deposit. So Terry and I are in support of this, knowing what's going on in the economy and what we're hearing.
Okay, so the recommendation is moved by Councillor Gunson, seconded by Councillor Dirksen, that the Council of the Town of Minto hereby receive report ACDEP 2025-15, amendment to the option to purchase BTJ Investments Limited, prepared by the Director of Economic and Community Development for information purposes, and further that the Council of the Town of Minto authorize the mayor and the clerk to sign the agreement. Questions for Belinda? We have done this before.
Yeah.
So if there's no questions, all in favor of the motion? That's carried. Thank you very much for your reports today, Belinda. I'm going to pass the chair along to Councillor Gunson.
Thank you, Mayor Turk. So Public Works, we got 2 items today. The first one is winter maintenance of connecting links agreements, and Mike's going to present the report.
Thank you, Chair Johnson. Now, this is just our annual agreements with One Sound Agreements, just outlining terms of the agreement and the increase just for last year from consumer price index. It's up roughly $5 last year's.
Thanks, Mike. I'll read the recommendation. Moved by Councillor Zimmerman, second by Councillor Elliott, that the Council of the Town of Minto hereby receives report PW 2025-017, winter maintenance of connecting links agreement, prepared by the roads and drainage manager for information purposes, and further that the council of the town of Minto considers approving the two bylaws in regular session, authorizing the mayor and clerk to sign the agreements. Any questions for Mike? Seeing none, call for the vote. All in favor? Thank you. Second one, petition for municipal drain. Ryan.
Thank you, Chair Gunson. This report addresses petition submitted under Section 4 of the Drainage Act by property owner at 8769 Wellington Road 6, Wellington North. This petition seeks to construct subsurface drainage tile outlet to connect to municipal drain 3, addressing insufficient drainage for the petitioner's land. Back in February 2018, February 18th, 2025, council appointed Streamline Engineering to investigate improvements to municipal drain 3. And during these investigations and landowner meetings, this landowner addressed their need or wish for a subsurface tile outlet. They currently don't have one. So under Section 78, which Streamline was appointed to, they aren't actually allowed to extend the drain under that appointment. They can only make improvements to the existing drain, which is actually an extension. So that is what drives the need for the Section 4, which this addition is here for today. So if there's any questions, this is basically just a formality. So the engineer is already involved in the process. They're already doing the design and updating the report. So this is just an extension of that drain, and it's all going to be included in the same report.
Thanks, Ryan. I'll read the recommendation. Moved by Deputy Mayor Anderson, second by Councillor Podnowitz, that the council of the town of Minto hereby receives report PW 2025-018, petition for a municipal drain, prepared by the drainage superintendent for information purposes. And further, that the council of the town of Minto accepts a petition for a municipal drain under Section 4 of the Drainage Act for 8769 Wellington Road 6 and appoints Streamline Engineering to represent the town's interest in this regard. Any questions for Ryan? Councillor Podnowitz.
Chair Gunson. Through you, Chair Gunson. Who pays for that? Is that just that landowner, or is it shared within the rest of them?
It's, in this case, most of that will be shared between the county of Wellington and that landowner, because this is at the very top end of the drain, which has to cross the county to send to. So yeah, the engineer's report, which will come, will just let you know the costs for that extension.
Any other questions? Councillor Dirksen.
Thank you. Is this farmer live in Wellington North or in Minto?
Great watershed currently borders municipalities. So in fact, we already have investigation. Wants us to start council about their council.
Okay, I guess I'm stuck on 8769 Wellington Road North. Generally odd numbers are on the west side of the road, are they not? Even numbers on the east. Am I crazy? Anyways, I guess it doesn't really matter. If he lives in Wellington North, that's where he lives. So then Wellington North would be part of the quarter revision then, as because it crosses two communities or two municipalities. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Super. Thanks.
Mayor Turd. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the petition was originated by someone in Minto. And
Petition, the request for improvement was originated in Minto, which sparked this process in the consultations with all the people within the watershed. This property owner was within the watershed already, and they were notified of the project, which for this extension.
which is the proper thing to do, right? Streamline, where are they? Are they local? Yep. Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll get Ryan off the hot seat here. All in favor? I'm gonna pass the chair back to Mayor Turk.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ryan.
Benson, we're moving right along to holiday office closure, the 2026 council meeting schedule, and the 2026 volunteer appreciation dinner. Gonna ask. Oh, I didn't see you back there. Will you please turn on the mic and speak into the mic, please? Thank you very much. Go ahead, Gwen.
All right. Through you, Mayor Turton, to members of council. My report today outlines the proposed 2025 holiday office closure, the 2026 council meeting schedule, and the 2026 volunteer appreciation dinner. So the purpose of this report is to allow council to review and approve these dates in advance for internal and external planning and communication. The office traditionally sees reduced public traffic between Christmas and New Year's, so we are recommending that the municipal office close at noon on Wednesday, December 24th, and reopens at 8:30 a.m. Friday, January 2nd. Staff would pull from their paid time off banks to cover the statutory holidays, and essential services like winter operations will continue as needed. Public notices will be posted well in advance through multiple channels. As per the procedural bylaw, we are also bringing forward the proposed 2026 council meeting schedule. Meetings are traditionally held on the first and third Tuesdays of each month. And because 2026 is an election year, we are proposing that the 2027 budget process begin later in January and February of 2027, which results in fewer meetings in 2026. But this, of course, is at the call of the mayor. So the draft 2026 schedule contains 22 meetings, including the inaugural meeting to be held in Clifford on November 17th. And lastly, National Volunteer Week runs from April 19th to the 25th in 2026. So we propose holding the annual Volunteer Appreciation Dinner on Thursday, April 23rd. Continuing with our tradition of rotating the venues, the 2026 event will also be hosted in Clifford, because it was hosted in Hairston in 2025 and Palmerston in 2024. So the recommendation before council is to receive the report and approve the proposed holiday office hours, the council meeting schedule, and the volunteer appreciation dinner date and location as outlined.
Thank you, Quinn. So the recommendation moved by Councillor Elliott, seconded by Councillor Gunson, that the Council Town of Minto receives CL 2025 010 2025 holiday office closure, 2026 council meeting schedule, and the 2026 volunteer appreciation dinner prepared by the deputy clerk, manager, people and culture for information purposes, and further that the council of Town of Minto approves the 2025 holiday hours, 2026 council meeting schedule, and 2026 volunteer appreciation dinner date, and located as outlined in the report. Questions for Quinn? It looks very good. Quinn, yeah? So everybody understands the motion. I'm going to call the question. All in favor of the motion? That's carried. Thank you, Quinn. I'm going to pass the chair to Councillor Dirks.
Thank you, Mayor Durden. All this talk about winter and 2026 and even 2027. Whew, we're going to bring it back here to more current events. And we have 5 items on the finance agenda today. And I'll pass it over to our treasurer, Gordon Duff, to professionally take us through them.
Yes, rarely do we have the most reports, but we do today. So that's something. So we'll start with a couple of statutory ones first. There's our Parkland Reserve. And this is when we get cash in lieu instead of an actual park for certain developments. Again, I guess we'll go to the last page. So this is a small reserve. We started out with $51,000. We collected $4,500 during the year. And thanks to some high interest rates, we made $3,000 on that. And we have $58,606 at the end of the year. and no expenditures during 2024. So that's all for that one.
Thank you. I'll read the recommendation. Moved by Councillor Zimmerman and seconded by Deputy Mayor Anderson that the Council of the Town of Minto hereby receives report finance 2025-010, 2024 Parkland Reserve Fund prepared by the Treasurer for information purposes. Are there any questions? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Thank you. That carries. On to number 2.
Okay, this is development charges. And as you're aware, the town is still undergoing the background study for the next development charges one. And we really want to have that done before the end of this year. However, this is covering the year before. And again, we've heard in a couple of our other delegations that building activity has been lower and slower. And unfortunately, that results in fewer development charges being collected. I think I looked back and this is one of the lowest years we've had in about the past 12 or so. So there's been many changes to development charge legislation, of course, too. And we'll come back to page 3, but on the other schedule, so our total development charges that we collected during the year were 198,000. And just to compare, like, we had that bit of a building boom in the early COVID days. We were up around 700,000. So it's really come down a lot. Fortunately, again, interest rates have been pretty good. So we made almost as much in interest as we did in new development charges. And we basically used them for 2 different projects. Well, 3 if you split the well exploration into 2. So we're again looking for locations for a new Harrison well and a Palmerston well, and also finishing off the King Street North extension in Harrison. That's at the end of the year. And you also note that total, we have $2.3 million in development charges, but almost 1.7 million of that is in wastewater. And again, these are restricted. So if we collect it for wastewater, we have to use it for wastewater, even though we may need it for roads or something else. So the other thing with the legislation is, there were reports of maybe larger municipalities sitting on large unspent reserves. And as you can see on page 3 of our report, of eligible projects, which means they do qualify for development charge funding, at current cost estimates, which are probably low, we have $10.3 million in projects that we could fund by development charges, but we only have 2.3 million. So I think you have to have 60% minimum allocated. So we're exceeding that by several 100%. So anyway, take any questions, but that's what happened in 24.
Thank you, Treasurer Duff. I'll read the recommendation. Moved by Councillor Podnowitz and seconded by Councillor Elliott that the Council of the Town of Minto receives report finance 2025-011, 2024 development charges reserve funds prepared by the Treasurer for information purposes. And further, that the Council of the Town of Minto accepts the Treasurer's declaration that the town is in compliance with Section 59.1 brackets 1 of the Development Charges Act 1997, and further that the report and related attachments be posted on the town's website. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, Board, I heard you say that this is the lowest.
Yes. I'd say about 12 years. Like, yeah, it's been quite low. And that, it's no surprise because our building permits have been way down. You've heard from both the kind of the economic reports, we just gave an extension. The ladies from the childcare too, like they were saying how, things are slow too. So yeah, that's just a direct result. The development is on a bit of a hold in these times of uncertainty. Now, it sounds like, talking to Terry and Wes and Dave, that building inquiries have been up, But again, a lot of it's being agriculture related, which doesn't result in a lot of development charges too, so.
So did I hear you say that, some of the regulations have changed?
We've had changes to the Development Charges Act since Christmas 2019. And there was just Bill 17 a few months ago, and there's still the regulations for that too. So again, they've kind of gone back and forth of what you can charge for, back off. And the new rules prohibit you from collecting interest on any deferrals, and there's going to be more deferrals. So yeah, unless building activity increases, and hopefully it will, yeah, our development charge collections are not going to be that much bigger in 25.
So I heard you say as well, of our 3.3 in reserves, 2.3 are
2.3, that's
wastewater
correct.
related,
Yeah.
only to be spent
On whatever, because that's why we do the background
Yep.
study. They decide which categories. And there's a formula like you pay $100 and maybe 30% is for sewers and 20% for water and that too. So the purposes are restricted and they've got to be growth, not for existing.
related.
That's right.
And the 1 million,
1.7 roughly is wastewater.
yep,
So part of that is our collections. Part of it we haven't used that much. Again, our big wastewater project was the Palmerston Clarifier. That was mostly to repair existing rather than growth.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Councillor Potowitz.
Just through you, Chair Dirksen. Is there any money in our development charges reserves for the Main Street of Palmerston project?
No, because again, that is primarily to repair. We could possibly decide, especially on the extensions and that, if we can prove a growth-related component, you can do that. And again, these reserves aren't project-specific, so you can collect the project development charges on something at this part of town and spend it on that one on something different, as long as you adhere to those percentages for the categories.
Any other questions? Okay, call the question. All in favor? Thank you. That carries.
Okay.
On to number 3.
Yes, so Deputy Treasurer Robertson prepared most of this one. So it's the operating and a brief mention of capital. We did notice after we published that I looked and said, wow, we've spent a lot in administration, but no, not really. There's an entry that was yet to do. When we get our insurance bill, it all went into like one account and then we distribute it and put it in prepaid and all that. So admin is actually $478,000 better than that. So once you take that anomaly out, I think we're pretty close to 50% on all the categories right through. And water, wastewater, again, running just under 50%. Things aren't spent evenly or received evenly during the year too. So yeah, on the whole, once we kind of dug in, there's a lot of figures behind these summary totals. That was the only one that really leapt out at us. Capital, again, this is based on spending in our records as of June. So especially with kind of a late spring this year, many of our capital things, we haven't got the bills for it yet, especially as of June. So anyway, it's coming along fine, I think, and most of the expenditures, I'm sure you'll see, get caught up closer to the 100%. And again, there's some highlights of what the capital are. The paving, I believe, was just completed. I think we got a $700,000 bill not long ago. So that's done. SCADA, we've had a couple of meetings with our IT people, and they're working on some upgrades for that. Palmerston plant. Main Street, Palmerston, again, 2025, its designs. I gather they're doing some like hydro locates and that, but there's minimal actual physical work going on. New seats at the Norgan. We're anxiously waiting and just chatting with Councillor Elliott, and that's going to happen this fall for sure. And yeah, so no real surprises.
Questions? Are there any questions? Okay, I will read the recommendation. Moved by Councillor Zimmerman and seconded by Councillor Elliott that the Council of the Town of Minto hereby receive report finance 2025-012, 2025 second quarter financial review prepared by the Deputy Treasurer for information purposes. So I have a little question, if I may.
Sure.
Is this mostly on a cash basis, or are
Well,
some accrual
it's
included but some not?
closer to a cash than it is accrual. It's not certainly like the year end, that's totally accrual.
Of course,
But this
yes.
is mostly cash.
Yeah.
Some adjustments, but not too many.
Yeah, if you know about them, and some of them you don't know about.
That's
yet,
right.
Which you had alluded to.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions? One last chance. All in favor of the recommendation? Thank you, that carries. Okay, looking to appoint some auditors.
Yeah, so you recall at our last meeting, we did receive the financial statements and we filed the financial information return for 2024. I have a little bit of exceptional cemetery audit work that we had to do this year just because our investments hit a certain threshold that requires more audit, but other than that, so 24 has gone well. We closed the year in our books, which is nice. So I know I was thinking of doing an RFP this fall, but things have gone much better than last year. The audit costs have gone up tremendously. Like I know that. So I've been chatting with our present auditors and internally too. And since we're doing a lot of projects, such as implementing new budget software and everything, we have an election year. Last year, we did get a quote for 2025, and then I received the quote for 2026 too. And it's in line. So that would kind of see us through this term of council past the election, and it'd be 2027 before we'd have to address this. And from prior experience, an RFP for audit is quite time consuming for staff. So I know that it's like going through an interview process. So anyway, we are recommending that we retain our current auditors for the next 2 years. So.
Okay, I'll read the recommendation. Moved by, gotta make sure I'm on the right one here. Yes. Moved by Councillor Podnowitz, seconded by Deputy Mayor Anderson, that the Council of the Town of Minto hereby receives report finance 2025-012, appointment of auditors for 2025 and 26, prepared by the treasurer for information purposes, and further that the Council of the Town of Minto considers the related bylaw during open session. Are there any questions? Okay, all in favor? Thank you, that carries. Here's something we haven't seen for a while.
No. This is a tile drawing and
Yes.
as opposed to municipal.
Yes.
Yeah, so the owner, this is the first step. Again, it goes through a few different things. Just as a refresher, for tile drains, the municipality is kind of the flow-through agent. The application goes to the province Minister of Agriculture. They approve it, we receive the money, we give it to the landowner, and then it's paid through a charge on taxes. Again, so this landowner is going for the maximum amount. So it's still 50,000, and I think the interest rate is still 6%. Yeah, that interest rate hasn't changed through the spikes and when interest rates were approaching zero, it was still 6%. Now 6% is not sounding too bad again. So we may get more requests for tile drain loans, but this one just came in. Again, this is the first application, and if council approves, then it'll go on to the next stage.
Okay, I'll read the recommendation. Moved by Counselor Elliott and seconded by Counselor Zimmerman that the Council of the Town of Minto hereby receives report Finance 2025-014, application for the tile drain loan Wayne McTaggart, prepared by the Deputy Treasurer / Revenue Coordinator for information purposes, and further, the Council of the Town of Minto approves the application for a loan under the Tile Drainage Act. Is that the right report number? Are we missing 13? We jumped from 12 to 14. Does it matter?
The appointment of auditors was
Auditors.
13. I will make a slight change to the motion. That
Oh,
it'll
I
say
see. There were
13.
two 12s. I'm sorry.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you for
I
pointing
should
that
have
out.
caught that sooner. Sorry. Okay. Are there any questions about a tile drainage loan? Deputy Mayor Anderson.
This gentleman's address is listable?
Through that one.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, he lives on 109.
If I remember correctly, the property itself, it's on.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
McPhail's.
McPhail's. Yep.
Okay, all right, just curious, I'm thinking, why is listable asking us for a trial? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, if you look down, the location of the land to be drained is on Wellington Road 109.
Minto
Okay.
parcel number, so.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, call the question. All in favor? Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Treasurer Duff and Deputy Treasurer Robertson. Thank you. And I'll turn the chair back to Mayor Turton.
Thank you, Councillor Dirksen. Our Treasury Department has been very busy. And I'm sure you'll continue to be very busy. So thank you for all your hard work on that. We're now into announcements, and Councillor Dirksen, would you like to start, please?
Well, good. There has been just a plethora of activities in Minto, and it's really great to see everybody out to them and enjoying themselves. And I don't know whether we want to go through all of them, but the amount of work by volunteers in our community is just really astounding. And they just pulled off so many wonderful activities and events for our people and beyond over the last, well, really, I think we get crazy about the 1st of June. And and our staff have just been there to support and to help out. Certainly see them running around and keeping things going smoothly. So I just wanted to pass on kudos to not only our volunteers, but also to our staff.
Thank you, Councillor Dirksen. Councillor Zimmerman. You're next.
Thank you, Mayor Turton. Yes, I have to reiterate that I fully agree. Without our volunteers, town will be in a sad state. Thankfully, we can rely on. And this coming week, 2 weeks, whatever, is no exception. So just some highlights. This coming weekend at the Norgan Theater, if we have any Marvel Studios fans, the new movie that they have out is Fantastic Four: First Steps. And the special thing about this is Saturday night is half price admission, sponsored by Palmerston Agricultural Society. Come on out and have a really inexpensive night out. Friday afternoon at the Harrison Library, there's a balloon show entitled Inflated Ego. Don't know if there's any room left, but you can certainly call the library to find out and register your kids to go there. Saturday, well, that's busy too. Clifford Rotary is having a road toll from 10 to 3 on the main street. Minto Farmers Market and Family Day Breakfast from 9 till noon at the Palmerston Railway Museum. And then we mustn't forget that the following weekend, the 22nd to the 24th, is the Palmerston Fair. All kinds of things happening that weekend as well. And a really kind of important thing is yesterday, our Mapleton or our Tri-Fire Services announced a partial fire ban for Minto, Mapleton, and Wellington North. So all burn permits have been suspended. No new ones will be issued. They are allowing recreational cooking fires and campfires, but please use your discretion at that. And this is going to run until further notice. That's it from.
Thank you, Councilor Zimmerman. Deputy Mayor Anderson.
Just a couple of things. Just to let you know, speaking of Senator Black earlier, he is going to be present at the viewing of the Farmerettes documentary, which is happening in October. The Carry On Women's Institute has organized a viewing of this film. It's a documentary about the Farmerettes, who are young women who stepped up to continue to produce food, keep the nation going during the war when all of the soldiers had gone off to battle. So it's a passion of Mr. Black's, Senator Black's, and so he'll be there that day. And you'll have noticed a note, apparently went out on Facebook today, because I think I posted or asked on the calendar, but we're looking for volunteers to assist with delivering groceries in Palmerston. It's no longer available for seniors. So Helen Edwards and myself have gotten things organized we have a partial group. We're looking for a few more volunteers to do the shopping and delivering of groceries for those people who are unable to access the grocery store. So if anybody's interested, just contact me. That's all I've got.
Thank you very much. Councilor Elliott, you want to go next?
Sure. I noticed on our agenda that the homecoming, Eileen and I hosted that in our backyard this year. Maybe not, but it was in our backyard, a lot of it. So all I got to say is it was quite amazing. I went to many of the events, so hard to cover them all. I think all of them were really well attended. So a lot of people came back to that you couldn't get to see everybody. There were so many people there, and all the events were really well done. I want to thank the committee that put it together, the original committee that worked so hard. Chris Harrell brought it to us a couple years ago, a year ago, and said that they were going to put together a committee. That committee did a great job. It was really difficult to organize because we other communities had their 150th and different homecomings that we competed against, and turned out we didn't. I think we were more successful than most of them. Our staff, I can't say enough for how they stepped up. Whenever anything was needed, I could see that they were available. The stuff they had done in the background that people don't know about, things that were done, was because they worked hard to put it together. That on top of the volunteers, and going back to our staff really stepped up, and our CEO put together all our staff for the last week to get Palmerston prepared and well ready for the event, both recreation and public works and anyone else, economic development, anybody else was available to step up, and they did a really good job. On top of that, we had many volunteers that came out and helped with it, including the Palmerston Lions. I know we worked our tail off for the last month trying to prepare the park that we were very proud of, and they stepped up too. It's an amazing event, only by the success of our volunteers and by the success of our staff and the success of our committee. And I thank them for that, and I can't say enough. Maybe we should do it again next year. Maybe not, but anyhow, it was great. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilor Elliott. Councilor Potnevitz.
Everybody's touched on a bit of everything, but we have Palmerston Lions have a golf tournament coming up a week from Thursday at Pike Lake, and there's some room for some more teams. Well, if anybody is out there is interested in putting a team in, they're more than welcome to accept them. And I think the money this year is to our obligation to the MRI fund. I believe that we've dedicate a bunch of money there. I mean, the money that we're raising is to cover those costs. If anybody is looking for some excitement and have some fun on a golf tournament, it's a week from this Thursday. And you can contact any of the Lions members or go on the Lions website and get the information there.
Thank you, Councillor Plotnitz. Councillor Gunson.
I don't really have anything. Everybody's touched on a lot of stuff here today, so I don't know if I could overdo it, so. Good.
Well, thank you, Councillor Gunson. So I'm in agreement with all of our announcements. I have to throw it out there as well to our staff and our volunteers and all the service groups that helped in the 150th. It was amazing. So many great comments. Just want to thank them all, as well as the street party this weekend in Hairston. It was amazing. The Leslie's Main Street, the vehicles and all the volunteers, same thing. They come out in droves, and the people, our citizens, people from all over the place. It's amazing. They just need a place to go, and they're coming to Minto. The last one is the Mayor's Golf. Tanya and Quinn, thank you for another successful Mayor's Golf Day. It was a beautiful day, and we were certainly well represented. We had many councillors there partaking and for the dinner, and it's just amazing. So thank you, ladies, and our three groups that were the recipients of the funds that were raised. We do have a fall fair coming up on August 22nd, and I'm thinking that it's Friday night when we'll have an entry in the parade. We'll get an email, I'm sure, from Annaline exactly where we're meeting. So that brings us to 20 Hairston Centennial 2028. That's something that we need to start thinking about. Should maybe wait till the Palmerston 150 has sunk off into the sunset, but keep that on your radar. Thank you, Councilor Zimmerman, for bringing that partial fire ban. It's important. If there's something that you don't understand about that to our citizens, just call the office, and because a lot of good things start in Minto, but we don't want a fire to start here. Forest fire. So if there's something that you don't understand, just call the office. So we have a temporary closing of our office coming up, and so I'd just like to take a moment and read some correspondence. We'd like to remind the public that our office will be temporarily closed starting on Thursday, August 14th due to the necessary construction work. During this period, the building will not be accessible or the safety or both visitors and for both visitors and staff. However, services will continue remotely, and in-person support will be available at our alternate locations. The Launch at Minto office, located at 39 Elora Street South, Unit 2 in Hairston. If you need assistance or would like to schedule an appointment with members of our staff, please contact the office at 519-338-2511. Leave a voicemail or the employee who you're trying to contact, and they will return your call at their earliest convenience. Staff are also available by email, of which can be found on the Contact Us page on our website. We apologize for any inconvenience and appreciate your understanding as we work to improve our facilities. So another issue, it's extremely important that everyone is aware that our office is still open, but it's not open here. You need to phone that number, and if there's issues and you can't get through, no reason why you couldn't get through, but just all of our phone numbers are available on the website. So we don't want this to be an inconvenience. We want to run business as usual. So please support us on this. This work needs to get done, Likely should have been done a couple years ago, or 5. But thank you, Mike, for taking this on, Mr. McIsaac, and all our staff. Because I think, I am sure that there's quite a bit of it that's going to be done in-house. We're trying to do it as reasonable as possible, so. So thank you very much. So we'll move along if there's no other announcements. Got a resolution moved by Councillor Dirksen, seconded by Councillor Potnovitz, that the Committee of the Whole convenes into the regular council. All in favor of that motion? That's carried. Thank you very much. Notices of motion, anything under that heading? Okay, so we have a resolution moved by Deputy Mayor Anderson, seconded by Councillor Gunson, that the Council of Town of Minto ratifies the motions made in the Committee of the Whole. All in favor of that motion? That's carried. We're into bylaws. Resolution moved by Deputy Mayor Anderson, seconded by Councillor Potnovitz, that bylaws 2025-039 through 2025-046 be read a first, second, and third time and passed in open council and seal the corporation. All in favor of that motion? Carried, thank you. Confirmatory, moved by Councillor Gunson, seconded by Councillor Dirksen, that bylaw 2025-047 to confirm actions of the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Minto respecting a meeting held August 12, 2025, be read a first, second, and third time and passed in open council, sealed with the seal of the corporation. All in favor of the motion? Carried. Thank you. Adjournment. There's nothing else. We'll adjourn. Resolution moved by Councillor Elliott, seconded by Councillor Zimmerman, that the Council of the Town of Minto adjourns to meet again at the call of the mayor. All in favor of the motion? Carried. Thank you very much for a long but productive council meeting.